Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us for Back to Cruising. I'm Roland Miller from Development Promotions, and today we've got Nirosha Sidat, Business Development Manager for Southern Africa, joining us. How's it, Nirosha?
Morning, Roland. Thanks for having me.
Cool. Thanks for joining me. Nirosha, you just joined a cruise, first time in 18 months back, or back on board. Tell us a bit about that cruise. And also then, before you went cruising, what were you looking forward to most on board?
I mean, Roland, that's the best question ever. I mean, the most important part was the excitement, just to start sailing cruises again, just hearing about coming back into waters, passing this message on to the consumer and, of course, the trade, getting everyone as excited as I was. But it's not just the sales element of it. For me, it was the feeling of traveling again, getting onto a flight, getting onto the cruise ship, welcomed by the crew. I mean, just to see their faces light up as the guests were boarding, listening to the first horns blowing during the first muster drill. It's that travel feeling that you get that's completely inexplainable.
Yeah. And you mentioned the muster drill. How's that? And we've read all about these, the changes on board. How did specifically maybe the muster drill, but everything else, a big change that you've noticed on board?
Of course, like with the muster drill, it's always been capacity controlled, if I can say in so many words. When you get your board pass, it normally tells you what area that the muster drill will be held in. So for each different allocation of your cabin, you go to a different area to do the muster drill. You still have your crew, demonstrating the muster drill. So it still happens as normal. You get your area. It's very capacity controlled. For example, mine was in a certain dining room. Others were up on deck. So the ship is kind of spread all around. So the muster drill is perfectly fine. But, like you say, changes on board or any big changes that I've noticed on board, I'm going to be honest, I didn't notice big changes. For me, it was as normal. But with that said, there are changes, of course. Like there's more station everywhere you go. There's controlled capacity in different areas. So if you go into a restaurant, the restaurant will look at the number of people that they have in there and tell you, okay, if they can fit you in that restaurant or not. The pool area, the deck chairs are kind of a little bit more spread out. In the guest relations, there are a little bit of, more controlled capacity areas where, if there's too many people standing in line, then one of the guest relations managers will come and move you to a different queue. So it is very, not major changes, minor changes, but very unnoticeable, if I can say.
Yes, yeah. And you mentioned some of the capacity controls and so on with the onboard dining and so on. Big question, obviously, is buffet meals. Everybody knows cruising is known for buffet meals. Any change there? And maybe entertainment? What did that change?
Sure. So as far as capacity control, it's the actual rule with NCL as a whole company is that it is not compulsory. However, we have governmental rules in different destinations. So we follow the rules of the destinations we visit. So for example, like I was in Italy, the rule in Italy is social distancing and mask wearing is compulsory. So then we adhere to that rule on board. Okay. You talk about the buffet area. That's the go-to place for everyone when they get onto a cruise ship. Everyone loves the buffet area. The major difference is that you're no longer serving yourself. So there's no cross-contamination of using utensils. It works like clockwork. It's still the exact same. The only thing is someone else is serving you. You don't feel, intimidated or embarrassed to go and help yourself or whatever. It's the exact same process. It's just now being serviced instead of self-service.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then just to jump back, boarding process, is that different at all?
Definitely different, but brilliant. So when you get to the before you actually go through the check-in process, there's an antigen testing area. Again, runs like clock. You get allocated a different cubicle. You go and have your antigen test. Once you have your antigen test, there's a little waiting area. And then your name will either pop up on the screen but we've also got an app that you can download and your results will come onto the app. So if your name pops up on the screen or on the app, you can either get the yes or no, whether you tested positive or negative. If you're negative, you go through the check-in process, works like normal. To be honest, it took me a maximum for the whole process from getting off the transfer to getting onto the ship. I promise you maybe 25 to 30 minutes maximum.
Oh, wow.
So it's very streamlined. It works perfectly well.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's good to hear, because obviously these technological advancements adds to the whole process and makes it seamless and quick. So very cool.
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah. Just the last part about your cruise. What was your best, the thing that you'll remember on your, if I can call it, your first cruise back?
Like, again, 100%. Like I said earlier, you know, my best experience was getting back onto that ship. You know, the first sail away party, seeing everyone around the deck with the champagne glass in their hand, the excitement, the mustard roll, the music playing, the people, the ocean in the background. I don't know how to explain it. It's just that feeling, you know, I'm traveling again, I'm cruising again. Yeah. You know, not for one, I think, oh, shucks, it's a completely different experience. It was just, I don't know, for me, it was mind-blowing that during this crazy pandemic, it's almost like I left the world behind and I was on the ship in a different world, but it's that same of cruising again. So for me, it was just, exciting, mind-blowing. Travel is the best thing ever. Cruising is the best thing ever, yeah.
No, it is. And also looking forward to that first one next up. So, yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, I've got a picture of the Norwegian Prima in my background. It's just been launched. Bookings are going well from what we've seen in the media and so on. Tell us a bit about Norwegian Prima. When's it coming? What's on board and so on?
Stunning. So brilliant new product in our classes. So the Prima will be launching in 2022. It's part of our Leonardo class, definitely a class of its own. We'll be launching a new ship within this class for every year from 2022 onwards. It comes with amazing, thrilling experiences. I mean, a 3-level racetrack, 10-story water slide, infinity pools throughout the ship, glass walking bridges. And those are just some of the thrilling experience. But we've also listened to a lot of the consumer feedback. And you know, the one thing that kept coming through over and over again was, we'd like more wider open spaces. And we've listened. We've built the ship with completely wider open spaces, probably less cabins to accommodate the wider spaces, but not only the spaces in the public areas, in the staterooms. The staterooms are so much larger. And then, of course, we've included much larger bathrooms too. So this ship is definitely, like I said, a class of its own. We're going to be sailing in the Caribbean and Bermuda first, and then it's coming to Iceland, another stunning bucket list destination, not only for South Africans, worldwide. So those are the two areas that it would be in. But like you said, demand for 2022 is crazy. That ship, the Iceland sailings, if I'm not mistaken, is completely sold out already.
Wow, okay.
We had our record-breaking sales period when we launched the Prima, and it sold out, I think, in a week. It was completely sold out on that first Iceland sailing. So definitely something to look out for. And for those that are planning future cruises, consider booking that for 2022 or even 2023 already.
Yeah, no, definitely. And then lastly, what's happening next?
Very, very exciting. You know, I'm the most excited about this for South Africa, or Southern Africa is my area. We are bringing the Norwegian Jade to South Africa for the very first time. So we're doing a Dubai to Cape Town sailing on the 3rd of December. And then we're doing 3 back-to-back Cape Town to Cape Town sailings. So it's doing our local coastline, you know, Mossel Bay, well, starting in Cape Town, Mossel Bay, PE, Richards Bay, Durban. Then it's going all the way to Namibia. Then it's going to Namibia, and it's doing Walvis Bay and Luderitz, and then back to Cape Town. So for me, I'm super excited about this itinerary. You know, we've always wanted a ship in our local waters, and here we've got the amazing opportunity to get so many of our South African first-time cruisers and repeat cruisers on board in our local waters.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I'm looking forward to seeing the ship and also just seeing it in South African waters.
Stunning.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you very much, Nirosha. This was cool. Thanks for the catch-up. And
it's a
look
pleasure,
forward to
Roland.
doing it again.
Yeah, stunning. Me too. Thank you so much for having me.
Cool. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time on Back to Cruising.